why has this been happening? Let's talk about like, why is it happening and how you can protect yourself, right? Because I think that's one of the biggest concerns is no one wants to be left hung out to dry like Modera's people were just a couple of days ago. And one more thing about that, if you've got some friends in Modera or any of these companies, just treat them the way you would want to be treated. No one wants to get a sales pitch right out of the gates. Do you want these people to join you? Yes, because if you're like I am, I want to help people. Like I want to provide people solutions. And so if I reach out to someone in these times, do I want them to join the teams? Yeah, of course. But it's in a way of doing it that I believe can solve some problems for people, because that's really what any business person does. That's how we stay in business. A restaurant solves a problem. People are hungry, maybe for a specific type food. You solve that problem. You feed them. But here's the first reason why this has been happening. Number one is, and these aren't in any certain order, okay? Mismanagement of company funds, the money that comes in. Because I am sure that Modera would still be in business today, and so would all these others, if the money that came in, because millions and millions and millions of dollars every year came in, well, why did it close the doors? It's because more was going out than was coming in. It's just like your house. It's no different than your household. How do you get in financial trouble in your house? You spend more money than you make. And if you don't make some changes, you lose your house, you lose some of the things you've purchased, you got to start over. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Freedom Factory. You guys, I say this all the time, but I am very grateful for you guys being here, and it gives me a platform to be able to discuss things that I'm very passionate about, this profession that has been so good to us, and I know will be so good to so many of you. And today's topic, this week's topic, is very timely considering what's been going on in our profession that I love and care about so much. It has definitely been a whirlwind the last few days. So if you haven't heard, and this podcast comes out usually on Mondays. So this news is about 8 days old. A huge company, Modera, closed its doors on Friday of last week, and it did so at a great surprise and shock to many, especially their own people. And I know this on a very intimate level because once you're in the profession of network marketing, as long as I've been in, you meet great people. Well, you meet people, some not so great, some really great. And some of those people you become friends with. And I certainly have friends that were at Modera. And immediately I started texting those guys. My first text was, is this a joke? Like, that was because sometimes people will put things in social media. We call it like clickbait, just for attention, for clicks. And I was like, man, I really hope whoever's doing this is not doing this for clickbait, because this is going to cause some problems. And it wasn't. It was real. And then my emotions went completely to putting myself in their position. The endless phone calls, the emotion, like how do you call your spouse and how do you even have these conversations? The things that you have to start putting in place, because I believe they made this announcement on payday, which is extra gross. It means that those guys worked a whole month, because we get paid in the rears. Like when you are building organizations and selling product, they don't pay you immediately. Yes, there's next like 1 day pay, 3 day pay, 1 week pay, monthly pay. But the bigger checks are normally the monthly paychecks, and that comes from last month's activity, which means they didn't even get paid for what they did in the month of March, which is really horrible. because you're already in April, which means you're not getting paid for April. Kind of puts you like 45 days behind, which would, really make all of you upset if you work for 45 days, especially if it was a big paycheck. And so it was not good. It was not good. And anytime a big company closes, it sends chills up the spines of many people because they're thinking, well, it's not my company, but maybe it is going to be my company in the future. And I can understand that because before Modere, just a few weeks before Modere's announcement, there was an announcement that Herbalife purchased Prove It and a couple other smaller companies. And Prove It was a pretty significant size company. So all of a sudden, those people's lives are turned upside down, being moved to new products, new comp plan, or merger of such. It takes time. A year or so ago, like a year ago, there were a couple smaller companies that closed that caused some ripples. But one of the biggest ones last year was Rodan and Fields, a long-standing company. It didn't close its doors, but it completely shut the door on the team building aspect, which is where the leverage is. And that plays into this topic here today of like what's going on with the industry. And there've been other companies before that. The big one a few years back was Avocare. They were like one of the first ones that I can remember where this domino fell, where the company didn't close. They tried to keep the customers. It's really kind of sad. You get all these field leaders and people that build these organizations, and then the company decides to, well, we're not going to close the doors. We're just going to keep your customers. Okay. So by the way, it is our customers. The field leaders go out and market and get those customers. The company thinks it's their customers, but it's not. The relationship is not with the company. The relationship is with the trusted friend or the trusted person that found them, that got them on the product. That's where the relationship is. So that's their customer. And I try to remind corporate staffs of that as regularly as I can. These are our customers and we bring them to you. And we hope that you deliver amazing products and then you will pay us for that. Because that's really the two things the company has to do: ship the products and pay us. If you have a company that's not shipping the products and not paying, there's your sign. So anyway, why has this been happening? Let's talk about why is it happening and how you can protect yourself, right? Because I think that's one of the biggest concerns is no one wants to be left hung out to dry like Modere's people were just a couple of days ago. And one more thing about that, if you've got some friends in Modere or any of these companies, just treat them the way you would want to be treated. No one wants to get a sales pitch right out of the gates. Do you want these people to join you? Yes, because if you're like I am, I want to help people. I want to provide people solutions. And so if I reach out to someone in these times, do I want them to join the teams? Yeah, of course. But it's in a way of doing it that I believe can solve some problems for people, because that's really what any business person does. That's how we stay in business. A restaurant solves a problem. People are hungry, maybe for a specific type food. You solve that problem. You feed them. But here's the first reason why this has been happening. Number one is, and these aren't in any certain order, okay? Mismanagement of company funds, the money that comes in. Because I am sure that Modere would still be in business today, and so would all these others, if the money that came in, because millions and millions and millions of dollars every year came in, well, why did it close the doors? It's because more was going out than was coming in. It's just like your house. It's no different than your household. How do you get in financial trouble in your house? You spend more money than you make. And if you don't make some changes, you lose your house, you lose some of the things you've purchased, you got to start over. That's all that's happening here is mismanagement of funds. Now, it's a complicated thing because part of the funds that come in that have to go out is commissions to the field, right? So one of the things that companies do is when they get stuck a little bit, they'll start doing promos. They'll start doing incentives. And those funds come over and above the compensation plan. So they kind of are running along with what they know the compensation plan is going to cost. But then they run these promotions on top of that. Sometimes these promotions are not thought through, and you still have to pay out. And it creates a really big squeeze. And they're doing it sometimes, these companies, just to create the stories. In fact, I know last year, a big company that's still in business, they wrote some big checks to get people to come over to them. It's not sustainable. You can't write big checks to every person that comes over. Maybe a few, but not everyone. It's not sustainable. Worse than that, there's companies in our space right now that are telling people they're paying upwards of 70% commission. You guys listen to me. It may be true, but that is not sustainable for very long. You cannot pay out 70% commissions to the field. I mean, that leaves 30%, guys, for all of the corporate staff to get paid. What kind of corporate talent are you going to have if you don't have very much money to pay them? Not very good. How do you pay taxes? How do you pay taxes? You got to pay taxes on the money that comes in. How do you develop product? How do you do any that, guys? It's not even common sense. Okay, your legacy companies are paying in the middle 30s to middle 40%. Okay, that's where a lot of companies are falling. All right. And some of these people are doing this to create that buzz story. Like, oh yeah, I jumped over to this company in my first month. I made more money in my first month than I made in the last 6 months at my last company. Could be true, because they could be paying over and above for a certain amount of business that comes in. You bring in so much business, we'll pay you over and above to bring that business in. It's like just wash and repeat, just washing people around. It's disgusting, really. But because it's disgusting because a lot of people get hurt in the process. Innocent people see that, they believe that, they go over, and then they soon find out that that was just for a little while, or maybe not even true at all. Some companies run these big trips, and they use trips as a way, as an incentive to bring people into their company. And before long, they're running short on funds. And so it's just overall, I can go on and on, but it's a mismanagement of the money that's coming in. And sometimes they have too many employees. They're paying out they got too many people not doing enough. I mean, we're seeing this right now in the world news. I'm not going to get political here, but just look at the news in the United States about what's going on, about agencies being investigated and being leaned out because there's far too much waste. That's what's happened at a lot of these network marketing companies. Far too much waste, and it has to be leaned out, or companies go out of business. The second one, and again, this is in no particular order. The second one is poor leadership in the field. Lazy leadership in the field. Lazy and entitled leadership in the field. Because I'm going to tell you, one of the incredible things about network marketing is if you build one of these things and you build the team, you can take your foot off the gas. You can. And for months or even years, you can collect a paycheck. Your paycheck may stay the same. In fact, I can tell you story after story after story of people I've watched firsthand completely take their foot off the gas, meaning they're just not even doing anywhere close to what they were doing before. And their money kept coming in for years. That's the sign of a really good product because customers are using it. The money doesn't keep coming in unless customers are using the product, and a good comp plan. However, even if you got great products and a great comp plan, that cannot exist forever. If everyone takes their foot off the gas, if no new enrollments, no new customers, no new business partners are coming in, how long will the company last? And the answer is not long. See, years ago, this was okay. And it's really because the compensation plans over the last couple of decades are paying out way more than they used to. You guys, the old companies, There's a reason why they're so old, and it's because they made a ton of money for the owners. A ton of money for the owners. In fact, some of those companies, I'm not going to name names, but the distributors had to start making their own tools, and they were making more money from selling tools, selling like tapes and videos and training courses. They were making more money from doing that than they were actually from their own products. That's how bad the compensation plan is and was for some of those companies. So if a company is full of a bunch of lazy leadership entitled saying, you guys go do the work, this is what we did, y'all go do it. That's probably what's leading to a lot of these companies that are falling apart. And lastly, and it kind of coincides with these, is old compensation plans. I've touched on it a little bit, but you guys, something I was told 6, 7 years ago. Compensation plans have to change because the behavior in organizations change from exactly what I just explained to you. If you get a company and an organization and several organizations that adopt this entitled, lazy, like we've arrived type mentality, and I can just ride it out, nothing's going to ever change, we're good. That creates a compensation plan that has to change. You change the comp plan and it drives the behavior every time. You move the cheese. Like, where's the cheese? You move the cheese and that's where people go, right? And so by changing the comp plan, you change the behavior. And so comp plans don't change in companies that are thriving. Let's just say that. If a company is thriving and growing and in momentum, comp plans don't change. Comp plans have to change to drive a new behavior, to drive new leadership, to do new things. That I'm just speaking very raw to you guys. Okay. That's just it. So it's the most incredible industry, guys, because I've already explained to you. Nothing I've ever seen allows you to earn the way we get to earn based off of the activity. I can tell you the incomes that are still available today in network marketing based on the amount of time it takes once you get these things up and running it's mind-boggling. People are working 40, 50, 60-hour weeks. I can promise you right now, there are hundreds and hundreds of leaders in network marketing that are making over $100,000 a month. Call it $60,000 a month and over. If we drop it down to $60,000, there's thousands of them that are literally doing nothing. Like, or when I say nothing, they're putting in like 5 to 20 hours a week and earning 50, 60 grand a month. That's how phenomenal this profession is. I know you want to be one of them. That's kind of what I'm trying to help you guys get to, right? People that are earning that kind of money without having to, spend 80 to 100 hours a week working. It's there. It's possible. But it's not going to be eternal if everybody takes their foot off the gas. You have to be creating new leadership and building legacy inside your own organizations. All right. So now let's get to how you protect yourself. All right. One of the craziest things that I'm seeing right now that people think they can do is build at 2 different companies. Now, with affiliate marketing and social retailing, social media, I do see people that are promoting several different products. Okay. I'm going to save my opinion on that, but I will tell you, you cannot successfully build organizations in 2 different companies. You can't. You just can't. Now, you may say, oh, well, so-and-so is still getting a check from this company and they're getting a check from this company. Well, I can promise you they're not doing it simultaneously on a big scale. I don't know those people. In fact, the more you talk to the high income earners around the world, guys, not 1 or 2, every one of them will tell you, you cannot ride 2 horses. You cannot climb 2 mountains at the same time. You have to pick one. And there's a lot of reasons why you have to pick one. Can you do it to a certain amount of success? Sure. Can you make 10 grand at one and 10 grand at another? Probably. But if you would just focus on one, you'd probably be making 40 or 50 or 60 grand. Would you rather earn 10 grand from two or 50 or 60 from one? And some of you are saying, well, I have diversity, so I don't lose it all. Yeah, well, that's a rookie amateur mindset. Promise you. Take that one to the bank. So how do we protect ourselves? You need to first start to solve the money problems for your team. What I mean by that is, if your team is making enough money, they're not going anywhere, ever. Even if your company shuts down, they're going with you. And that's all that you need to know as a leader, because then you could go to the next company and easily do this again. Now, I'm not saying to jump from one company to the next. The deal with Modere, Modere closed the doors, guys. Those people at Modere, they didn't leave and then start pulling their people away from a company. Modere closed the doors. I think it's disgusting when people leave a company and just start ripping that old company to pieces by blowing apart different organizations. Does it have to happen sometimes? Yes, you have to leave companies sometimes, but I've seen it done the right way and I've seen it done the wrong way. So number one, if you want to protect yourself, be hyper-focused on making money for your team. And I mean, like, know what they need, know their numbers, be involved in helping them hit their financial goals, and you'll never have anything to worry about. Reward the right behaviors in your organization. And the guys, the gateway to success in network marketing is bringing new people on, new customers, new business partners. You've got to have a mindset that is the key. That's the number one thing in any business, because you don't keep all of them forever. Think about grocery stores or hardware stores, or guys, why do they advertise? To bring new people in, to keep the ones they have and bring new ones in. The moment they stop advertising, for the most part, they start losing. I mean, why do you think these brands still advertise the way they advertise? It's to bring new people in. So if you want to protect yourself, the mindset for you like, and this is for everyone, the top leaders. No one gets the mindset that you can just sit back and not bring new people in, because if you do, you're in big trouble, because the organization will adopt that. And before long, you've got problems. Build a brand that goes with you. My brand is the Freedom Factory. I am building an army of people who check into our factory here, and we produce successful, independent, team building, professional network marketers. That's the brand. This brand goes with me everywhere. I own the brand. No one else owns the brand. I own the brand. I put as much effort in, time in, and put as much content in as I choose. And because I do that, it has an audience. It has fans. It goes where I go. Build a brand. Your company is not the brand. Your company is your partner. It is not the brand. Okay? Build your brand. People need to know who you are, what you do, and they need to like it and benefit from it. All right. And the lastly, I'll tell you is 2x your income. And you guys are like, yeah, it's easier said than done. You should all have a goal, guys, of multiple streams of income, but not from the same industry. Please, I already talked to you about that briefly. Please don't say, I'm going to go diversify. I'm going to have multiple streams of income inside of network marketing. That is wrong, 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 wrong. Don't do that, okay? But one of my goals is to earn as much or more money outside of the industry of network marketing than I do from my own company. Think about that. Think about if you've got your network marketing income and you've got an equal amount of money coming in from other streams of income, and your network marketing company closes. You're good. Does it hurt a little? Yeah. Is it painful? Yeah. Is your life changing? No, not unless you're spending all the money, which, you guys, if you're listening to this podcast, please tell me you're not spending all the money. Go back and listen to the buckets, the podcast about the buckets. So double your income. Let that be one of your long-term goals, that you're making as much or more money from your investments as you are from your network marketing company. And then you've got nothing to worry about. You're going to sleep well. The company closes. I would see that as an opportunity, because if you've built your brand and you got the right mindset and you're helping leaders build, if a company closes and you've done all that, you've created a resume, guys. And there's other people in that company that were probably not on your team that are going to want to be on your team, and they can join you on your next venture because you're that good. You're that good, guys. Go be that person. And it will put you in a tremendous, tremendous opportunity. So guys, the industry is not broken. The industry, in fact, is thriving. I'm more excited about the industry now than ever, because I believe the skills that I teach, what I do, and then what I teach are the skills that are most needed in the profession of network marketing right now. This is where it's at. The industry is changing for a good reason. It's getting... Guys, it's just like, I live in Florida and these hurricanes. And guess what? For the most part, the trees that fall are the ones that were sick. They were the ones that were old. They were the ones that were probably not doing much in the first place. The roots were bad. The tree was bad. Okay. You guys, it's okay every once in a while to have a cleansing, because what comes after that is stronger and better. That's what I'm saying. That's all that's happening in this industry right now, is a cleansing. It's getting rid of the weak. It's getting rid of the wasteful. It's getting rid of the greedy people. It's getting rid of all the nasty, and good stuff is going to come for this. So you guys just go be the leader. Follow some of the things that we talked about here, and you're going to thrive. You're going to thrive in network marketing. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast, you guys. The industry is amazing. And I'm glad you're a part of the Freedom Factory. And I'm hoping that we can help you go take advantage of what this industry has to offer. So great week up for you guys this week. Go kill it. And we will be back here next week with you guys, sharing more insight into this amazing profession. You guys have a good week. Bye-bye.